What secret was revealed when cleaning out the home of a deceased family member?
Grandpa did drawings of the faces of the people he killed in World War II. Nobody knows why, but my grandma said he had a lot of guilt over the things he saw, so my guess is he didn't want to forget them or didn't feel like he should be allowed to forget them.
My grandfather, who was in Italy on Omaha and in the Bulge, did something similar. Every evening before bed, he'd visualize the German soldiers he had killed and would say prayer for each and ask for forgiveness from them. In a way, I think he felt feeling the pain of remembering them every day was his penitence.
My grandfather struggled with what he did in World War II his entire life. He took his story to the grave with him, we assume, out of shame. What we've been able to piece together is that he was a member of the SS, lied about his age when he enlisted, joining up at 14, probably consumed by all the propaganda, and got shot down over the UK sometime during the Blitz. He wasn't a pilot, which meant probably a gunner or someone controlling the bombs. He could have been responsible for hundreds of civilian casualties, and we'll never know. After the war, he ended up staying in the UK, became a citizen, married a farm girl, and had 4 kids. I have to imagine that his time in the prisoner of war camp changed his perspective, and he came to realize the SS was truly evil. Unfortunately, we'll never know.
If it makes you feel any better, he probably wasn't SS. Luftwaffe and SS were separate military entities. The only SS attachment connected to the Luftwaffe was the SS parachutist battalions. If he was shot down in a bomber during the Blitz, he was almost certainly Luftwaffe.
My grandfather would never talk about his time in the army in World War II. We knew he was an ammunition truck driver, and that's all. After he passed, we found all kinds of documents. That was actually the last job he did for the army. Before that, he was a sniper and won medals for marksmanship with rifles and other different things. He had maps of all the places they traveled, some of which were not in Germany, like he always said. It was all really neat as spooky, too. Last thing we found was an armband. He took off a Nazi soldier and a German Luger handgun. It was really crazy.
We found something similar from my great-great-grandfather. He had a watercolor sketchbook from the trenches in WWI. The paintings are very good. We found the book about 20-ish years ago, shortly before his son, my great-grandfather, died. Disclaimer, I am German.
I'm African American and my husband is white. My father faced a lot of prejudice during his lifetime, and I was terrified of telling him that the white guy I'd been on a date or two with, I was getting serious with. The first time I brought my now husband home, my dad was courteous but distant. Miraculously, by the second time, my father literally gushed all over my husband. Even my siblings were shocked. When we got married, he was beaming. It was odd, but I was just happy my husband had won him over. My mom died in 2014 and my father in 2021. When my siblings and I went to clean out the house, in his safe along with other important documents, we found letters that my husband had written to my father 24 years before about how he felt about me, how he was serious about his relationship with me, how he was planning to go to law school. He did. He's an attorney now. How he respected that he'd gone through so much in his lifetime, and eventually how he loved me and how, with his blessing, he was going to propose. My husband never told me he'd written my father, and my father never told me he'd been corresponding with my husband. It was so emotional finding those. I still tear up when I think about it. When I got home, my husband finally showed me the letters my father had written back.
A diary with only a few entries from my uncle, who lived alone. One of the entries was about how sad he was to have never met anyone or had children, and how lonely he was. Broke my heart. Edit. Wow. Sorry to depress so many people on a Friday night. My dad and his best friend actually found the diary and saved it from the house before all the other family pounced. My dad didn't care about material possessions, but he wanted to protect my uncle's thoughts. It did feel wrong to be reading it, but curiosity killed the cat. Some of these commenters seem like they need a pep talk to all those saying that they are going to end up like my uncle. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Your life isn't over until it's over, but it's up to you and only you to get what you want out of life. Step out of your comfort zone. Maybe less time on Reddit. Do something new. Volunteer. Join a club. Maybe move to a new place. Get a new job. You never know who you will meet. My brother sat in his room for years drinking beer and playing computer games, but one day he decided to give rock climbing a go. He now manages a climbing wall place, is mega fit, and he met a lovely woman who loves also climbing, and he spends his weekends on cliff edges around the UK. I finally found my partner online dating after moving from London to Liverpool. Yes, online dating sucks so much, especially in London, but it can work. Kissed a hell of a lot of frogs. Good luck.
That my dad hid money all over the house. Not huge amounts, mind you, but $60 here, $120 there. Felt like a bit of a scavenger hunt when we were cleaning out his stuff. He was always a bit of a sneakily generous guy, always gave me and my brothers a secret handshake with money tucked in his palm when we'd go back to school after a weekend home, etc. So wouldn't be surprised if he'd done it intentionally. Made us smile every time we found some, if I remember correctly. I think the final total was somewhere around $800.
I deal with deceased estates as my job and have to go into houses to collect paperwork, etc. One home of an elderly lady, I found £15,000 in cash stuffed all over the place, just in envelopes in stacks of opened post. Another house I went to recently, I found almost £9,000 in various envelopes.
Not a secret, but a near secret. My grandfather, who spoke English as a third language, was a bit of a hoarder. Lots of old shit stockpiled in his basement, but well organized. Imagine a generic episode of Hoarders, but with a prepper OCD vibe. Everything was sanitized, stacked, nested, and grouped logically. It was like the stockroom for a store that wasn't yet sure what products it was selling and wanted to be ready. So we find a cylindrical container that was kind of heavy for its size, and it had the label Old Penis. It was one of those black plastic film containers. Hesitant but curious, we removed the lid. It contained a collection of 1-cent pieces which had been minted in the first half of the 20th century. Part of me was disappointed. Part of me was relieved. Edit. I'm glad so many people got a chuckle from the mystery of my grandfather's old penis. It was an innocent typo, but he was a jovial man and would have enjoyed knowing it made so many people laugh.
That my father committed suicide and did not die of a heart attack, that he was a cop under investigation for theft and took the quick way out.
I found out my grandmother committed suicide about 20 years after the fact. I had been 5 when it happened. All through childhood, I was led to believe she died from cancer, and that my grandfather was traveling. In fact, he was in and out of jail for years from drink-related incidents following his wife's suicide. Thankfully, he's been clean and sober for the last 20-plus years.
Cleaning out my grandpa's apartment, we found different pieces of a handgun scattered around. He struggled on and off with depression, and apparently he did it so that if he was thinking about suicide, he would have to go find all the parts and give himself time to talk himself out of it.
My dad kept a handwritten note in his wallet containing my mom's old address, phone number, and directions to her house from when they first started dating in the 70s. He had moved it from wallet to wallet over the years. He just died this past March, and that was one of the first things we found.
My dad was in hospice at home for a couple months before he died of lung cancer, and when I went to clean out his house, I found that he had already sorted and packed away most of his personal treasures in couple storage bins. It was heartbreaking all over again, thinking of him sitting there packing up his own life, knowing it was coming to an end.
My uncle committed suicide, and when I went to his apartment to clean it out, I saw that he'd given it so much thought. He'd given away all his valuables. Family pictures were sorted by year stacked neatly on a table. He'd gone to the bank and cleared out his accounts and safety deposit box out, assuming he gave the money away. He signed his paid-off car registration over to my aunt, the youngest sibling, and left a note to give her the keys. And all his good clothes, suits, dress shoes, dress shirts were packed up for donation so that someone down on their luck might be able to wear them to an interview. It was clean and organized, which wasn't really his style. His place was always cluttered and lived a messy lifestyle. He was the life of the party. He was always popular and well-liked and fun, and he must have been so sad. He was only 54.
It's not uncommon that people who plan their suicides give their treasures away first. So if any of your friends or relatives start giving their belongings away, or if you receive something precious to someone unexpectedly, then pay attention and make sure that they are okay and that it's not preparation.
When I was younger, I had a lot of anxiety and decided one day I just wanted rid of everything and get new stuff, change to hopefully change my mental state. I remember my dad asking if I was okay and if I wanted to talk. He was asking to call my therapist and urged me to keep some important things. Looking back, I now realize he was probably scared that this is what I was doing. Reminds me I gotta thank him for always caring.
Found my grandparents' wedding certificate, which didn't match the date everyone else had. Their original date was 9 months before my aunt was born. The certificate was dated about 5 months before she was born.
That seems to have happened a lot back then. My great-grandparents did something similar, but instead of changing their wedding date, they pushed the date of my great-uncle's birthday back a few months to make it look like he was born 9 months after the wedding.
My dad passed away in 1994. I was 28. While going through his safe, I found some adoption papers. While reading through them, I got excited at the prospect I might have a brother out there somewhere. I was raised as an only child, but couldn't understand why my parents never told me that they'd adopted a child but never told me. After rereading them, I realized that they papers were about me. After confronting my family about this, turns out everyone, family, close friends, everyone knew I was adopted, except me. That was a fun day.
This isn't cleaning out their home, but when my husband died a few years ago, I found several notes and letters he had scattered in various places around our home, written to me in advance. He had terminal cancer and knew he was dying. Some were marked, "Open when you can't stop crying," "Open when the holidays are too rough," "Open when you have to put one of the cats to sleep." They didn't contain any secrets, but they are heartbreakingly beautiful. Put a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss more interesting life stories.